Have you ever taken a little bit of moment to think about just how bloody far we've come in terms of technology? Well, I'm going to do that right now. And if you want to continue seeing this, plus all the reviews and interviews and different things we get here at EFTM, hit subscribe, hit the bell, and we'll bring it all to you right here on YouTube. Now, look, I know people love saying I was today years old when I found out X, Y, Z. Well, you know, maybe some people will be today years old when they find out that Windows used to come on floppy disks. Now, I've got MS-DOS here. That's a solid bit of computing history. 3 disks to make that work. Pretty cool. Microsoft Windows for Workgroups. What are we talking here? This is an 8-disc set, okay? You don't install Microsoft Windows for Workgroups without installing every single one of those floppy disks. 1.44 megabytes of data on each floppy disk. This one though, this was a kind of defining moment for me. Windows 95, it was a huge launch when it happened. This is a 13-disc set to get me Windows 95. I remember it being shipped in. I just remember installing it for the first time. This was a radical new operating system for a computer. This was how you installed software back in the day. 1 disk, then the next disk, then the next. 1.44 megabytes stored on here. 1.44 megabytes, just think about that. I mean, relativity. SimCity 2000, hello, 2 floppy disk set. 2 floppy disks for SimCity 2000. IndyCar racing, hello, this is one hell of a game back in the day. 3 disc set. And I love this about how old I am. Trumpet Windsock, hey? Who didn't use Trumpet Windsock? That's how you got on the internet. And then you needed something like Weber to be able to see the internet. Netscape, Microsoft Internet Explorer, these were all big, later down the track things. But then memory took a whole different turn and we started to get portable, storable memory that went into digital cameras and things like that. But then it started to get small, real small. And I'm going to fast forward now to a point where this happened. This here is a MicroSD card. This one has 128 megabytes of storage on it. So we're talking about 120 odd of these floppy disks stored in this very same space. The size of your fingernail, storing as much as 125 of these. It was mind-blowing, mind-blowing. Nah, that's not enough, folks. That's nothing. What we got here at 128 megabytes by today's standards is laughable. I mean, I've probably got 20 or 30 64 gigabyte versions of these little memory cards that I use when we're recording videos and putting up the drone or whatever it might be. So then I bought this. Now, just take a little look in there, folks. 1 terabyte of storage. 1 terabyte of storage in that card. This thing here is bigger than a CD case, but the actual storage is as big as your thumbnail, and it stores 1 terabyte of data. Now, to put that in perspective, my simple calculations, 728,177 of these. 728,000 floppy disks worth of data stored here on this tiny, tiny little memory card. I'm not doing this to review the product. This is a MicroSD card. It fits in MicroSD card slots. But I will say you need to be careful if you go out and buy something like this. Now this here on Amazon will cost you about $300 or $400. If you go to JB Hi-Fi, you're looking at $900 for this little guy. I bought this at Amazon during the Black Friday sales, I think it was. I just had to have it. I just had to have a 1 terabyte microSD card. And I'm not sure I'll ever take it out of this box here. I just feel like this is going to be one of those things that imagine if I had this one still in the box. This is just about how damn far we've come. And I think a little bit of how much we take for granted. It's staggering to me what we can fit in here and what these things can do. And my only word of warning, my word of caution if you were to buy one of these, be careful that it might not work with your existing device. Some devices, especially devices from a few years ago, would be limited in their ability to read or write anything further than 128 or 256 gigabytes of data onto a micro SD card. So it may struggle to be actually used as a 1 terabyte card. So just keep that in mind. But more importantly, just keep in mind just how far we've come.